Get everybody. Good morning. Good morning. We got almost everybody. Good morning. Good really needed somebody to just give them a big ump and a good push. And so my last 12 years at Two Lakes Elementary School was a school of poverty in the northwest Oklahoma City area. And when I got there, that school was struggling tremendously. The students there didn't want to be there. Their parents didn't want them to be there. The teachers didn't want to be there because things were not well there. The children weren't learning. We had lots of issues there, lots of fighting and things like that. And just kids just performing poorly. And so we turned that around. And so now what I do is I go around and I try to help schools and educators to help better serve our kids. And I like speaking to kids, and so I do lots of things with regards to trying to help our children be successful. I'm on the commission of Oklahoma City Children and Youth Commission, and so I work as appointed by the governor to try to help young people be successful. So they told me you guys would have notes in here, and you'd be taking notes, and that delights me because I don't ever want to talk just for the sake of talking. I do a lot of talking, but I don't do it for me. I do it to try to make a difference and try to help people. So for 12 years at my last school, I talked to my kids till I was blue in the face, trying to help them to get the big picture. And I'm going to try to help you guys get the big picture this morning. Again, as Mr. Clay said, I'm a pastor. I grew up a preacher's kid, the youngest of 6 boys. I have a sister a few years younger than me. So I grew up learning about God and learning about life through my parents and things like that. And then I had to experience it myself. And so in my speech to you guys this morning, I want to talk to you guys about 3 things. Now, the audience that I usually speak to, some of them are a little hard of hearing, so every now and then I get a little louder. So I just want you to be careful, be comfortable with me. Okay, don't be afraid. I get a little loud sometimes because I think sometimes the audiences that I'm used to preaching to, sometimes they're a little hard of hearing. So every now and then I'd raise my voice just a little bit because I want to make a point. And so I might want to make a point to you guys because I really want this to get through to you. So let's get going. I want to talk to you guys about 3 things. I want you to learn from your past, okay? Otherwise, I kind of want you to live in the past, and you've never heard anybody tell you live in the past. Well, I do kind of want you to live in the past by learning from the past. Raise your hand in here if you've made a mistake. Raise your hand if you've done something kind of stupid before. Now, that's not a word we like to use, but if we think about that word stupid kind of puts emphasis on, I did something dumb, and I don't want to keep repeating that thing. So what are those things that you've done in the past that are not good for you to take into the future? Maybe you haven't prepared for class the way you should. Maybe when the teacher is giving you some homework, giving you some assignments and things like that, you kind of blew it off until the last minute. Maybe you chose to go get on your skateboard or get on your Xbox or do something else and you put that off until tomorrow. I want you to learn from your past. In other words, live in the past in the sense that you think about, this is something I've done before. I don't want to do it again. Maybe you've had a problem with being honest. Just telling the truth. You tell your mom, yes, Mom, I cleaned my room. Yes, Mom, I did what you asked me to do. Yes, Dad, I did it. Maybe you had a problem with doing some other things that you ought not be doing. Maybe your parents have told you, don't grab one of those little white things and put it in your mouth and go to puffing on it. Maybe your mom has asked you not to grab one of those things, pop the can, and go to sipping on it. Maybe your mom has told you, listen here, that young man right there is really not a good person for you to be hanging around with and spending time with. And you say, okay, sure, Mom, I won't do that. And you did it anyhow. My dad used to say to us that everybody falls down sometimes. Everybody makes a mistake sometimes. We're going to do it. It's human to make a mistake. But if you continue to fall down over and over and over and over, did I say over? And over again, it's become a habit. And it's what you are. You are a walking, living mistake. And so we were hoping you do, in this first point, is live in the past to the extent that you look at the things that you've done yesterday and work harder not to repeat those things. Got bad news for you. Some of the things that if we make that mistake once, that's the only time we'll get it. And maybe we don't get a chance to make another one. And so I don't want you to live in the sense of thinking, oh, I can do this and nothing will happen. I am not here to frighten you. Your principal, your headmaster, Mr. Clay, none of us are here to frighten you, but we know of some tragic stories of young people who made mistakes because they refused to listen, because they refused to listen to other people, and things ended tragically. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. But I want you to think, if you wrote that note, listen, write down some of the things that you've done in the past. Remember some of the things that you've done in the past and say, you know what? I'm not doing that again. Or I'm going to work very hard not to do that again. Because again, before I leave this point, some of those things, if you don't learn from them, they will become habit forming. And at one point, they might become addictive. And you can no longer stop doing those things. You can no longer stop doing those things. We know people, they did it one time. And that after that one time, they were hooked. Raise your hand if you want to be hooked on something that's destroying your life. I'm glad I didn't see one hand go up. I see people whose lives have been shortchanged. Who wants to see your life shortchanged? Thank you, because I was going to have a private session with you. Some of you have never heard anybody talk that loud. And could you imagine you and I being in a closet, and I'd call your mom and get permission and said, I'm talking to your child right now. Tell them, don't do it again. Guys, I don't get anything by coming over here. The only thing I get is the satisfaction of believing that somebody is listening to me. That somebody, y'all not used to this, are you? Well, I might need to come back next month because you might need to get used to this. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to live in the present. I want you to live right now. Now, we learn these things in school, past, present, and future, these tenses, but I want you to live in the present. Well, Mr. Lee, what are you talking about living in the present? Sometimes when you're 11 years old, you're 13 years old, you're 15 years old, the only thing you can think about is next year. When I get older, when I get 16, when I get 21. No, 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 no. I want you to live in the present. I want you to live right now. I want you to take advantage of right now. Tomorrow is not promised. Many of you have a sister or a brother, a mother or a father or a friend. They're not promised to be here with you tomorrow. Live in the presence. Love that person right now. Tell that person, I'm sorry right now. Give your best right now. In the movie, Dead Poets Society, it's a little dated and you guys probably won't watch it. It's not that current, it's not that cool. But in the movie, Dead Poets Society, Robin Williams takes his class up to a picture. And this picture is probably some 100 years old. But we could do this same activity. I want you to go home. Look at your mommy or your daddy, your aunt, uncle, your grandpa. I want you to look at their picture. Go home today. So you guys, everybody don't have, those old pictures are not on the iPhone. Some of those old pictures are in a photo album. And I want you to go home today. This is your homework from Mr. Lee today, Principal Lee. I want you to go home and look through some of those old photos. And I want you to do like those kids did in the Dead Poets Society. Robin Williams said, look at them. And he got real weird. He got real quiet. He got real weird. He said, look at them. And it was a picture of a football team. And they looked old and whatnot. And he said, you know what? They're 6 feet under now. There are a bunch of daisies on them. And he said, but listen to them. And then he said these words. He says, Carpe diem. They looked at him like y'all looking at me. He said, Carpe diem. And they looked at him like, what's he talking about? He said, Carpe diem. They said, what are you talking about? He says, seize the moment. Right now is all that you have. Your parents with you right now, that's all that you have. They're not promised to be with you tomorrow. I hope they grow to be 150 and you grow up to be 250. I hope you get to live with them a long time. But seize this moment. Take advantage of this moment right now. These people right here can bless your life. You don't hear me though. Some people don't have access to this. Some people are living homelessly right now. Some people don't have one person in their life that tells them, I love you. Some people don't have one person in their life that is safe to be around. I want you to seize this moment. Take advantage of right now. If you take advantage of right now, if you take advantage of today, you can live a life of no regret. You can live a life of no regret. Ask these gentlemen, go ask your teachers, go ask your parents about some of the regrets that they have. Guys, let me tell you something. I've told kids this for a lot of years. Let me tell you something. Please hear me. I beg you, please listen to me. You can't go back and fix it. How old are you, beautiful? How old are you? You're 17. You can't go back and be 16. So get it right now while you're 17. Do it right now while you're 17. Handle your business. Some rapper said a few years ago, check yourself before you. Look at you. Look at you. I didn't know you knew. That's all right. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. So look here. Live, live and remember your mistakes of the past. Don't repeat them. Secondly, live in the present. Take advantage of today. Go home, look at the photo album. Those people are saying something to you. They're saying, seize this moment. Seize this moment. Guys, young people, y'all got this thing bad. You can't wait to get older. You can't wait to get your driver's license. Well, when you get your driver's license, you're going to start to get a job, and then you're going to start to get bills. Enjoy being a kid. Go in there and play with your doll. Go pull it out. Play with your doll. Play with your little X-Man or whatever you have. Enjoy being a child. Do you all know how many of us would like to go back and be a child, not have any bills, not have any responsibilities? We'd like to have it for just one day. Just chill. Just chill. Enjoy today. Where are my seniors at? Raise your hand. Seniors, I've been telling kids this for a long time. Slow the world down. Y'all not listening to me. Slow the world down. Okay? May is coming, and it's coming real soon. Listen here. Today is February 12th. I want you to try to put 25 hours in this day. Enjoy this day the best you can. You will never be in this phase in your life again. Life will dramatically change for you. You will be what we call an adult. Be a kid as long as you can. Enjoy this. Seize this moment. Tomorrow comes, it's not bad, but tomorrow comes a tremendous amount of responsibilities. Enjoy this. God created this life for you to be a child. Enjoy every second of it. Enjoy every minute of being home with your parents. Yes. Yes, enjoy them. I know some of them are a little whack. Okay, I get it. But they still your mama and your daddy or your guardians. Enjoy every moment with them. Lastly, you knew it was coming. Live with the future in mind. I want you thinking about tomorrow. Okay? Let's remember yesterday. Let's live in the present. But I also want you to be thinking about your future. I want you thinking, seniors, take your time, enjoy today, but think about, start processing, what is it that I really want to do with my life? What is it that God really wants me to do with my life? Now, be careful right here, because some of you could set some goals and set some dreams, and they won't be fulfilling. Ask God, God, what do you want me to do with my life going forward? When you do that, I promise you, if you align your desires with what God has for you, you won't work a day in your life. Guys, we love what we do. As a principal at Two Lakes Elementary for 12 years, I didn't stay home one day. In my 30 years as an educator, I probably missed 2 days. One day that I had some teeth pulled, and the day that my dad was funeralized, when my dad was buried. Those are only 2 days. You know why? I went to school every day because I loved it. I loved it. It was my calling. It was what God wanted me to do. Beyonce knows dad says, listen here, when you love what you do, you're not working. It's just something that you love doing. It's your passion. Ask God to help you to find your passion. Start dreaming right now what you want to do. But before I leave this point, I got to throw a little guilt on you guys. I did it to the little guys last year, so I got to do it to you. There's a scripture, one of my favorites, that I've loved talking to my kids about at Two Lakes Elementary. And it's in Luke 12:48. In Luke 12:48, there's a parable there, there's a story there, and the essence of it is, To whom much is given, much is required. And so I've had little third graders in my office before. They were full of potential, bright, athletic, full of potential, sometimes a little bit gangly and wiry, but I'd ask them, what does that mean? To whom much is given, much is required. Every now and then, a student would get it on the button. The student would realize that if I have been given great opportunities, like a good private school education with great educators, people that would invest in me and pour in me, to whom much is given, much is required. I got news for you guys. Every one of you in this room have been given an opportunity that is far better. You've been given an advantage far better than many kids will ever have. I've worked with kids who they did not have, it didn't seem like God gave them any advantage. I mean, look to them, it seemed like they were given every disadvantage in the world. You have the advantage of coming to this school and having a group of educators around you trying to pour into you to give you the greatest opportunity. I want you to seize this moment. While I'm on this, I want to give you a charge then. Since to whom much is given, much is required, I want y'all to understand, and I was just telling Mr. Clay, I do a lot of work in this city and in this state and in this country around what's broken in our country. I don't know if you all know this, but Oklahoma is #1 in the world in female incarceration. We are #1 in the world in a lot in the nation in a lot of negative statistics. But you guys can fix it. You guys can change Oklahoma. You guys can change the world. And I charge you, to whom much is given, much is required. Girls, ladies, we've been pouring into you in this school. Ladies, what's your name, sweetheart? Look at me, look at me, look at me. What is your name? What is your name? Holly. Don't you know when somebody's looking at you, they looking at you, you look. Holly, and every other Holly in this room, I want you to think of yourself after I leave here today. I am a princess. Say it. Every girl say it. I am a princess. I can't hear you. Say it again. Say it again. Gentlemen, say, I'm a prince. I'm a prince. Girls, these boys are outdoing you. I'm a prince. Now live like one. Act like one. Walk like one. Talk like one. Everybody get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Repeat after me. Repeat after me. I am. That was weak. I am. I am. Somebody. I am. Somebody. I am. Somebody. Because God don't make no junk. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you guys live in the greatest country in the world. Girls and guys, it used to be kind of a lie but it's no longer the truth. I mean, it's no longer a lie. Our past two presidents are proof that you can be anything you want to be. Y'all hear me? Our past two presidents are proof that you could be anything you want to be. So I want you guys, on that piece of paper, write at least three things that you think I might want to do and I might want to be do with my life, and I might want to be. You can be anything. Your chances go up, hear me now, your chances go up of doing one of those things if you live like it today. Okay? Okay, what they do is they do background checks, and they try to find out who you were yesterday. Lee Rowland is giving you 3 things that will help you when they do a background check on you. Your background will look clean. Your background will look wholesome. Ladies and gentlemen, be very careful what you do on Facebook or Snapchat or any of those other things. Be careful what you say. They will look back to see what you say. I've given you things today to help you to seize and have the future that you want. I told you to put 3 things. You may not, your mind may change, but put down 3 things that you think you might want to do with your life. You might want to be a teacher. You might want to be a missions worker. You might want to be a president. You might want to be a stay-at-home mom. But whatever it is, whatever your aspiration is, write those 3 things down. Last thing, John Maxwell says, your chances go up tremendously if you tell people about what you want to do. So not only did you write it down, but when you tell people, ladies and gentlemen, some of the most successful people in the world, very young, they started telling people, this is what I want to do with my life. God hears you when you speak. You speak it into existence. And then people like us, we're hearing you. And we will try to help you. Boys and girls, may God bless and keep each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. I pray that God blesses you beyond your wildest imagination. May God bless you and God keep you. Much love.
I thank the Lord for giving us the opportunity to have Pastor Rowland with us. Pastor Rowland, thank you. Thank you for coming. The kids in my algebra class, I told Mr. Rowland in algebra just an hour ago, I said, we get to have Lee Rowland with us in chapel today. And I said, I've had the privilege of hearing him speak. And I said he will, if he's like, I've heard him before, he's probably going to get loud and animated. And I was right. But thank the Lord for speaking to us. As I was sitting there, Pastor Rowland, as I was sitting there, I became aware of and began praying. I hope these kids are listening to you. I looked at Proverbs 5:1. It says, my son, I would say my son and my daughter, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen well to my words of insight. And the rest of that chapter, some things of those that didn't and some things of those that did. So you've heard wisdom today. You've heard words of insight today. And I know you wrote them down today. But as we go forward, as you move forward, you will do well to pay attention to the wisdom you've heard. Listen well to the insight that you had spoken to you today. So I thank the Lord for our chapel services. It's just a privilege. Pastor Rowland, it is a blessing and a privilege and a distinct honor to have you with us and to speak to our students. I want to pray before we go. So after I pray, we dismissed Mr. Clay, is that right? But let me pray for us as we leave here today. Father, we thank you for giving us this opportunity. We thank you for Pastor Rowland, for his heart for you. We thank you for his heart for the local church and for using him as a pastor. We thank you for his heart and experience and expertise as an educator, his love for kids. Lord, I just thank you for giving us the privilege of hearing him and hearing wisdom and insight from his heart and his mind through his mouth. We are grateful for that. Lord, I pray